Okay. So and we should be live. Just finishing off some things. So make sure you leave a like on the stream if you are watching. If you're joining, make sure you, as I said, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, of course, help me reach 100 subs here on YouTube, and the next target will then be 100k, of course. Just like 10,000%. That's easy pickings here. Like 100,000%. Good question. Yeah. So, what are we talking about today? Well, of course, we're firstly going to talk about my thumbnail on YouTube. You might have seen it, you might have not. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I just had the initial idea to post this photo. I made it with a friend of mine while we were hiking. Pretty funny times. Yeah, so that's the backstory on the thumbnail picture. If you didn't see it, make sure you check it out, of course. So today's topic will of course be Bitcoin. We're going to talk about crypto trading as usual here on this channel. I will, as I said in my latest video, more focus on the trading aspect of cryptocurrency, because this is of course what I do on a daily basis. So it's of course natural that I update you on what I'm currently doing. As I said, if you are joining the stream, make sure you leave a chat on and let me know what altcoins you would like me to cover later on in this video, because I'm of course firstly going to focus on Bitcoin, afterwards Ethereum, and as well Litecoin. These are my 3 trades I currently have open. And of course we're also going to pack into this like a little market psychology for you to better understand what's going on inside yourself, of course, as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is of course Bitcoin. As you can see, I hope it's not too unclear what's going on. Actually it is a little bit unclear because I do not know why we have 2 again. Let me just adjust this. So what has been going on here in crypto, in Bitcoin, in all of those assets? Well, first of all, we of course had our ascending channel here on Bitcoin. I did not like it for like multiple days while we're still in this consolidation. If I of course zoom out here on the daily, then you can see. Actually, you can't see because it's so cluttered. I don't know. I know it's actually fine. Well, let's just use here the daily on this chart. This is my fib chart, which you can get this indicator easily while just going here on TradingView and typing in Bitcoin log growth curves dark, and you will find those growth curves, which usually give you a very nice indication on where we're currently heading in the trend and where we are probably going to find resistance once again before making another higher low, until we most likely will reach the top of this channel, which is currently at 100k. We can of course go higher, but as I said, usually we find resistance in these targets. If you go back, then you can of course see how nicely it actually performed, but basically except for this dump here, which could actually pretty heavily have an impact on how this should be used. But I still think these growth curves can help you in some shape or form. So the daily uptrend is of course still intact. We had our 9 sell actually on a tier indicator sequential, which I can also go into if I just pull it up real quick. Then we had our 9 sell here. It was in consolidation, so it wasn't a big concern. And we also of course had our fake out on Bitcoin on the smaller term time frames, since people looked out for let me just use my brush for this rising wedge, which was happening right here in Bitcoin, and people kept saying, well, it could be dumping to the downside, and of course also covered this in my latest video, and we actually had our breakdown out of this rising wedge, yet it was a fake out, and it happened right here around 4,700, I mean 47,000, not 100. Luckily, people actually didn't sell the top, they actually sold the bottom, and of course Bitcoin moved upwards shortly afterwards. You can of course check out my latest video, I covered this in pretty nice detail. So today we are going to focus on this rising channel, on this ascending channel, but especially on the top resistance on which we are currently consolidating and have now retested nicely. We can also draw a small term resistance here where we could still go back to, which is right at 49,800, so approximately 50k. We can still backtest 50k here and be fine. So I am in no concern here regarding the price of Bitcoin. I still think we are going to move higher, maybe even while doing this live stream. If you're joining the live stream, make sure you actually leave a like and of course subscribe to the channel while we are pumping to almost new all-time highs. Let's see if we can do it here on this stream. Yeah, so Bitcoin moving upwards, the daily still seems strong. It is not yet too overextended. We are still we could very easily go into the first target of like 54 to 55,000. Afterwards I'm looking for 61, 62k, but basically I will start exiting positions around 60k, and maybe already at like 54k I will adjust to it, of course, on how price behaves, but mostly I will take some profit once we reach the 55 and 60k level. So the weekly is of course still bullish on Bitcoin, still in a nice uptrend. 4-hour chart also in a very nice uptrend, still making higher lows, which I of course very much like. Yeah, if we can hold around 50k, and especially if we can hold around 51k today, then I'm very bullish for the price of Bitcoin for this week and maybe even the next few weeks. Of course, it depends on how fast Bitcoin decides to move here. Yeah, the hourly chart also still bullish. I'm looking for further upside. You can see how we still are making higher lows here every time on the hourly chart, and so I'm in no concern. We can still go back to like 48k and be fine. Also, no surprise to me that we found so much resistance in this consolidation, and again we found support here on this back test. Was pretty clean all in all here. Yeah, and I like this consolidation. Looks like we're going to form a bull flag on the hourly and the 50-minute chart. Nice retest of resistance and a little bit of a pullback here. Yeah, so what I also wanted to show you is of course stock to flow model, which I talked about a few times already. Let me just adjust this end. Let's just do that. Right. Okay, yeah, so the stock to flow model, of course, we are kind of overbought here. If you look time-wise, then you can nicely actually compare this to the last double bubble which we had in Bitcoin, when Bitcoin exploded to $200 approximately, and then saw the first dump in a mini bear market before again moving to $1,200. And so we could actually be seeing this again. It really looks very similar, especially if we just rally to 100k until like May, I think. I mean, yeah, if it just rallied to 100k by April, then this very much looks like we are again repeating this double bubble in early 2013. Looks very similar, very interesting. Yeah, because if you look back at like 2017, there was just a steady uptrend and not this parabolic run which we're currently seeing. Even regarding percentage gains, we are much faster here in this current bull cycle. Very interesting. So you do not grind here down below this brown average line, which I thought was more likely. We just are holding on it. We actually retested it, but now are bouncing again. If we take a little closer look, then you can see how we are still moving on this line, which is pretty unusual. If we just form this uptrend on this line, then I think we are good. But if we explode upwards, like we've seen, as I said, in the last double bubble, then I'm a little bit concerned actually. I don't know why it's not zooming in again. I find this weird here. Of course, check the site out here, look into Bitcoin, very nice site for you to check out. But as I said, very interesting what's currently happening here. If we move on this brown line, then I'm still bullish for a 150k to 200k Bitcoin. But if we just blow off and move like very steeply above this average line, then we can be looking again at this double bubble scenario. The reason why I don't think it's too likely, because Bitcoin is so much more valuable and it's hard to move an asset where more money is in it than before. So I mean, we have to see, but very interesting what's currently going on here, especially since big money is on the table currently. Yeah, so okay, I think that's Bitcoin actually mostly for today. Yeah, the title of this video was of course why you're currently losing money, and if you did not watch my latest video, then you definitely should watch my latest video on where I elaborated on how the last pattern played out, is the rising wedge which we had on Bitcoin, which broke to the downside, had a fake out, and then broke to the upside. Shortly afterwards, so we had this rising wedge, people talked about it, we then just followed through to the downside and created this sort of ascending channel, which I very much like on the top and do not like so much on the bottom, but I still think it's very fine. I don't know why it's actually this way, it's not that beautiful. That's the way it should be. So yeah, so people talked about this rising wedge, and they focus on the short term. So why you're losing money in crypto, or why you lost money in crypto maybe in the last few days, and not only because price fluctuates and you should actually be in the green because Bitcoin is at all-time highs, is due to fear and greed in the short term and not focusing on the longer term perspective like I do as a swing trader, which is, in my opinion, maybe even more efficient, but that's hard to say. I wouldn't say that because there are people who make a lot of money day trading, but it's easier, I would say, because you get less caught up in the day-to-day and can focus more on longer term trends, which I, at least in my own personal opinion, find it much more easier to follow. Yeah, so that's a little bit of educational, psychological advice here in the market. Okay, so moving on to Ethereum now. a little bit cluttered here in my chart. Yeah, so Ethereum on the daily still looks bullish, looks like it's consolidating. TA indicator sequential is mostly neutral here. Kind of bearish, but I'm not concerned about that. The weekly is still bullish, still holding nicely, a nice doji candlestick. Daily had also its rising wedge, but what is the most important chart here on Ethereum is the 4-hour, in my opinion. Interestingly, I think the 4-hour will become more and more useful. I mean, it already is very useful on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and it has been for I mean the last few months, basically, especially of course in this uptrend. The 4-hour chart is very useful because it includes the smaller term time frame, but also gives you a bigger perspective. So it's like a nice in-between time frame for especially swing traders to find entries and exits, of course, as well, but mostly entries. I think the 4-hour chart is a very nice tool to have at your disposal. So Ethereum could still take a bit more time, but I think eventually it will move very, very much to the upside. I mean, it kind of looks like people are bearish on Ethereum, especially since we had this sort of head and shoulders, which I'll show you when I delete this rising wedge. I mean, I think it's interesting because people are so bearish on head and shoulders. And of course, get the reason why, because you have a line of least resistance on the bottom. But still, in uptrend, the uptrend is king. So you have this sort of head and shoulders here on Ethereum, which, you know, kind of broke to the upside and is currently sitting perfectly at resistance and kind of consolidating below it. And this is also the reason why I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum currently, because you had this head and shoulders, which broke to the upside. People probably looked for a short, and now Ethereum is, I mean, it's not nice up, it's a little bit up, and it has actually been a poor performer comparative to Bitcoin over the last few days and weeks, which is kind of surprising, but not really as well. You have very important support, which was resistance. You can of course see this white line here on the top, which form a clear resistance in this whole 4-hour and hourly downtrend. I will move to the hourly. So, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me just adjust it again. So you had this whole downtrend. On this line, we have like 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to break it on the 6th. So a very clear and level of resistance in this downtrend. You can also chart this as a descending channel, but since we have this break to the downside, which kind of formed this head and shoulders, then right here, I'm not using the ascending channel. I think it's not as clean. I think the head and shoulders, which broke to the upside, actually works very nicely, and we are now forming this ascending triangle, which I will delete the head and shoulders again so that it's a bit cleaner, and I of course can also delete the TA indicator sequential. So, and you can see now this ascending triangle, which kind of had a breakdown, because if you take in this low, then you can see how we very nicely actually flushed all the way down to basically a double bottom, and then a retest, and then you again went into the lows, but then you pumped. So looking at this chart, it's not easy to trade. Actually, it's easy to hold. If you bought here at the retest of support, which you should have done, and I would have done if my account was still up and running, but I had to delete it, sadly. Yet it's another story. So we had this ascending triangle, as I said, which had a fake out to the downside, and you now should actually adjust it and extend it. And you can maybe include like this low and then these two lows, so you now have a new ascending triangle, which gave you a nice fake out to the downside. And this is also the reason why I still think Ethereum could pull back here and go into like the mid 1700s to again find support. I don't think Ethereum will break below 1760 maybe anymore, but I wouldn't be too bullish on that. I'm very bullish since we broke this this past resistance line here, this white line. If we don't hold above it, then of course that's a red flag for Ethereum in the short term. But yeah, should hold it, would be very nice. We have a few retests already. Very weird 15-hour chart. We are though kind of forming a pennant. I mean, it's more declining than anything else, but let me just like this song, it's amazing. Going to save it. Damn. Yo, go follow here at Chill Out Records, no copyright music. I think they're pretty amazing. Very nice sound. Yeah, so moving back to Ethereum. Yeah, and of course, Litecoin is still waiting. Litecoin currently at new swing highs. Very interesting what's going on there. A very bullish chart. Yeah, so we are still forming this pennant here on Ethereum, which I will be waiting for. We can of course move to the 50-minute, to the 5 and 3-minute, but I'd like to use smaller term time frames than the 50-minute personally, because as I said, I'm a swing trader, not a day trader. Yeah, so Ethereum hopefully holding $1,800. If it doesn't, as I said, red flag. If it does, very nice. Looking for further upside. Once we break above 1840 approximately, there's still heavy resistance around 1840, but afterwards I don't think Ethereum will be shy to move to all-time highs, especially since Ethereum likes to do those things where it corrects and then it just blows through all resistance levels without really regarding them too much. So of course we could still find resistance on the two levels of 1880, which I actually took profit at. This was a very nice take profit. But also around 1850 we could still experience resistance. But as I said, if we move above 1840, then I'm really not. Then personally, I don't think we will take too much time before moving through 1850. And of course, 1880 is not far from that target as well. Yeah, so Ethereum looking bullish in the short term. As I said, we could still see a correction, which will move to the mid 1700s. I don't think Ethereum will move above 1750, and I especially don't think it will move below, or I mean, it's more likely that it will move below 1790, but I also think there is heavy support around 1790 and in general around the $1,800 mark. So I'm still bullish here on Ethereum. And of course, I actually traded this breakout. I usually don't trade breakouts, but since I just averaged in here on Ethereum, I'm rather high on this breakout. So yeah, I will just deleverage if we see a bigger downshift. So moving to Litecoin, very important what's currently happening on Litecoin. Daily chart, looking at the T indicator sequential, random number generator. still bullish. We had a nice correction phase, which I loved. I loved the breakout on Litecoin. It was so clean, especially out of this asymmetrical triangle, which I will now go into. So, and this is a thing I talked about on this channel. If you did not see the video, I don't know what video it was exactly. Just watch all of my videos, that would help out very much. And hey, I have 2 people watching. Make sure you leave a like, and of course you subscribe to the channel. It really would help me out dramatically. Help me reach 100 subs. Come on, you can do it. And of course invite your friends as well. Yeah, so Litecoin. Okay, so what I mentioned on Litecoin was the symmetrical triangle. I was a bit worried because I initially looked at these 2 supports and then it broke down. But since Bitcoin mostly looked like it wanted to reverse, I was still holding my Litecoin trade, and the symmetrical triangle broke out and it has reached its target. You can see if I use it as an extension, then it has reached its target very nicely and has then corrected and is currently looking bullish again and actually broke to a new swing high. On the short term, maybe it will continue. I at least think so. So Litecoin, I actually exited my Litecoin trade around 160 and I entered around like 130. So I wrote it to decent profit, but since the Litecoin BTC chart looked that bearish, I actually took a step back and said, okay, the Litecoin BTC chart looks bearish, Litecoin looks very strong. I will exit this trade and just add to my Bitcoin trade, which was of course nicely profitable, and I do not regret it. But Litecoin did outpace Bitcoin actually in the short term. You can of course see it when I take a look here at Litecoin BTC, and you can see on the daily, I mean, it was only for a few days, but this was just the time I would have liked to take the trade, and currently still moving upwards in the short term, but of course a big downtrend, and I did not like it, so I stayed away from my Litecoin trade. But yeah, coming back to it now, this, I don't know, I deleted my drawings, god damn it. Let me just delete this and load up my chart again. Let me do that. Yeah, I did my drawings again. Okay, so very interesting. I said here on this breakout that I would look for Litecoin to just move around here, and then firstly go to the target of $166. Afterwards, I'm looking at $186 for the next target, and you can see what happened on Litecoin. Very nice target reached for Litecoin around 166. Nice retest of resistance, and then again a leg higher, actually very nicely moving here in my drawings, and it then moved to first target of 188 and then consolidating perfectly. I actually did not take this trade, but I definitely should have. Would have been a very easy trade on Litecoin. Here this pennant which broke to the upside and made some decent profit, like over 25, not like around 25% here. Could have been an easy trade. I did not take it, but I did take the recent trade here on this breakout, which I will now go into. So the Litecoin trade, what was going on here? Litecoin is basically nothing less than this symmetrical triangle. Oh, my ear is itching. So this symmetrical triangle was happening on Litecoin, and it now broke to the upside. It has not yet reached its target, but its target is right at $253 to $250, which I will take profit before. This is the Litecoin target. The reason why is, well, firstly, we have a confluence of some of these resistance levels. For example, we have a big resistance level looking here at the structure of the chart. We have an important high right at 253, and the current structure also suggests that we move to 250. So I'm currently looking at this trade to the upside on Litecoin for 250. I think this is a very clean target. We can of course blast through it as well and move to all-time highs. This is not unlikely, but I will wait for further consolidation below the all-time high on Litecoin before really suggesting more upside, and of course a break to all-time highs. Yeah, but I like this retest of current resistance on Litecoin. We could move a little lower, could still move to like 220. Here this would still be support, 220, and still around 210 we also have support, but we wouldn't like to break much lower. We can still form an ascending triangle here as well, where we then find support, as I said, around the 210 level mark. So we could still have this as a retest, then we actually break support at around 220, and then we go to 210 as the next target. Very possible. But as I said, I'm still looking for this smaller term symmetrical triangle to be confirmed. We could of course retest it actually, and then form sort of a symmetrical triangle within an ascending triangle, if that makes sense. So we could be looking at these two scenarios actually. Would be funny if that actually played out. Not even too improbable. If you are still watching, make sure, as I said, to sub to the channel in order to help me reach 100 subs here on YouTube. Also go here to my Instagram page at mooning_lambo. Posting some memes on a regular basis, some funny content. If you did not see it yet, make sure you check that out. Yeah, so did you FOMO in and liquidate your account? Have you liquidated your account? Let me know in the chat if you did ever do so. I hope you didn't. I almost reaching 100 likes here on some of my posts. I love it. I recently reached my first 100 likes and now have a few here around 100 likes. So thank you very much for anyone who liked my posts on Instagram. Yeah, so that's actually the stuff I wanted to go through in this live stream. Just let me take a look here. I'm actually competing with the Crypto Sniper. God damn it. Let me just check his channel out.
We heard the total market cap has gone through the 1.5 trillion. That's right, the 1.5 trillion mark. We'll be looking at total. These big landmarks falling, 1.5. We're going to look at total because sometimes we get a cleaner chart overall of total money coming into the all basket of crypto, not just store value Bitcoin, if that is what Bitcoin is deemed to be, which many seem to think. And also, we had a trade for you, but unfortunately,
let me just snag a few subscribers.
We need more numbers on our channel to stream more often, and we kind of had it for you yesterday, and it's already moved a whole bunch. And yes, it's Binance Coin, so we're going to show you Binance token, but you guys are going to be late. Unfortunately, you're not in the community. You wouldn't have been talking with us. Book a link.
Yeah, okay. Just funny to catch up. Let us take a look at actually Binance Coin, since he's talking about it. Didn't take a look here at it. Oh yeah. Oh well. Oh gosh. What? Yeah, this was an easy trade here on Binance. I mean, I wouldn't trade it, and it recently actually listed on BitMEX, which I thought was quite interesting. Come on, let me take my triangle. Holy shit. Sort of a rising wedge actually. Still a consolidation around the all-time high here on the weekly. If I go to the daily, then you can see how price is squeezed, especially if I do it like that, and you consolidate beautifully around the all-time high. I mean, it's not a clean chart regarding its fluctuations intraday, but I mean, holy crap, this is a breakout. I mean, from the all-time high, yeah, not bad. I mean, it's not outperforming Bitcoin yet, which is kind of sad. Or wait a minute, from the all-time high, a breakout, 250. Oh, it's actually like it's matching it now. Yeah, not bad here. Definitely not bad. The Binance trade here was possible, especially in a 4-hour chart, but not too clean. I would stay away from it. I think Bitcoin is much easier to trade. Much easier. Yeah. So as I said, hey, good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, how you doing? Where you from? USA, I would suggest. Maybe not. Yeah, as I said, if you're joining the stream, make sure you leave a like and you subscribe to the channel as well. And let me know in the chat what altcoins you would like me to cover, if you have some which you would like me to look into. Yeah, Litecoin still, I mean, it's kind of consolidating and it's kind of dropping. It's not really too sure what it wants to do, but it's mostly consolidating here. It still has support around 266, I mean 226 where it's currently at. So we might not even see Litecoin drop significantly below $224, but this is of course just a hypothetical scenario. Ethereum, it's okay. It actually found support where I thought it would find support. You can see it right here, and actually found support. I can, as I said, go to some long-term time frames, but I don't usually trade them. So Ethereum would be nice if it finds support where it's currently at. It's kind of bearish. I mean, it's not bearish, but it's weak. It kind of looks weak. Shouldn't, in a very short term, shouldn't go below 808, but in midterm, meaning over the next few days, shouldn't go below 1800. Could be trouble until 1788. Bitcoin still consolidating mostly, almost broke 12-time highs, but just shy off of it. Could find support where it's currently at. So Bitcoin, of course, moving along the lines I thought was likely. Very nice trade for now. I'm currently riding it into profit. What is smart to invest in this week? Well, if you are sort of an investor, maybe in the crypto market, maybe in general, of course, it depends on what you're looking at and what you're interested in. But if you're looking at the crypto market, then I would of course suggest you invest in Bitcoin. I mean, it's kind of late now. I wouldn't disagree with it being kind of late to Bitcoin. I mean, I still think we have easily a 2x on Bitcoin, but mostly a 3x on Bitcoin. But still, I think long-term Bitcoin will be an outperformer, especially over the next like 6 years. It will be. So, of course, if you are interested in investing, then I would suggest personally Bitcoin. But of course, if you're more conservative, then you can take a look here on YouTube and go to a channel which I thought was quite nice. I watched a few videos recently around here. Millionaire tries to the investing $100 challenge. If you're interested in investing and not only in crypto, then definitely check out his channel. I think it's very reasonable what he's suggesting, especially since compound interest is such a strong tool you should be using. So make sure you check him out if you're interested in investing. But if you're looking at crypto, then I'm still more of a conservative guy. I like Bitcoin. I also hold a little bit of Ethereum, but mostly I also trade the big altcoins and stay away from small term investments. But of course, you could look at some investments in the altcoin market. I just do not cover those topics. If you have any further questions, make sure you let me know in the chat. Are you more an altcoin trader? What are you interested in? Do you like Bitcoin? Do you hold Bitcoin? Do you think it will moon? Do you think it will moon further? I don't know when I do this pitchfork. It doesn't work actually. I mean, it is my fib chart. No wonder. Yeah, so Ethereum. I don't like. I mean, come on. Just hold it. Just hold around 815. Please. Nope, no bueno. No bueno. No bueno. Stop dropping Bitcoin. Start mooning Ethereum. Why are you so slow? Why are you so slow? Could be dangerous here to form a descending triangle. Could be dangerous. You would not like to see that, but you could be seeing that. What do you think about ADA? I like it technically. If I had a good opportunity to trade it, I would, but it's much overhyped. So, for example, you asked me the question, do I like ADA? Kind of sends me the signal that I should not be holding Cardano right now because it's, as I said, too overhyped. Because usually if you are interested in investing or holding ADA, then you should take into consideration that actually you are most likely moving with the herd. You should always be assuming that if you're a smart investor. And if you aren't, then of course that's good. But ADA, looking at it technically, it kind of needs to find support, but it very much likes consolidation. it's like a sideways move around a very important level, which is of course the $1 level. We did not significantly break through that level. So, I mean, if Cardano takes its time and people get like bored, then that's interesting. Because if people are bored, then they are, I mean, there's less hype in the market, meaning less people who can fluctuate price significantly, and just basically less members who are actively trading. And that's a time where you could be looking at an entry if you did not yet have an entry. I talked about ADA actually here in this consolidation. I did not trade it, but I thought it was technically looking very nice here in this ascending triangle. And it's still looking nice. I like this consolidation, but it of course can take like a few days or a few weeks. It's very hard to tell here on these altcoins, because they just kind of fade away to the side until they break out significantly and really break through resistance. But since, I mean, Bitcoin, people are kind of hyping Cardano ADA, but I think it still has like at least to go to its all-time high. But I think once it breaks its all-time high, I mean, very similar like what happened on Bitcoin, could be looking at big price increases, but I don't think it will move much beyond $1.41 in the midterm. I think we still need more of a bigger sideways move. If I would draw it out for you, then you can look at this, where we are still taking, I mean, this would suggest we're breaking out in the next few days. But if you are still like fading to the side here, then you come back up, and I can fade to the side, then this is very bullish. But ADA Cardano, if you're looking to invest, then of course I think it's fine to hold. It's more of an established crypto compared to the new ones. That's a fact. So I like that it has recent trading history. If I would trade a certain altcoin, it could be Cardano, yes. Hope that kind of answers your question. Price targets I'm not really fond of giving, but I could use a Fibonacci extension from top to the, that's wrong. So we could be looking here at like $2.30, $3.70, but these are very, very technical targets, and I like to use very technical approaches on assets which are established and liquid, since these altcoins can easily not respect technical targets, since people since less money is in them and less professional traders are trading them. So less patterns occur on a statistical basis and are harder to trade in general. So very hard to give technical targets on smaller cap altcoins, but this is a bigger cap, so it's not too bad to suggest we're moving to like 146. I mean 141. $1.41. Give me a break. I mean, hey, Ethereum dropping again. I mean, it's interesting. Bitcoin is kind of dropping. Not kind of. But Ethereum is really dropping. Yeah, so ETH-BTC, I didn't take a look at it actually. Weak, yeah. Actually, a retest of resistance. So here you have it. Could be looking for a long here on ETH-BTC. This is also kind of a reason why I'm in a trade. The T indicator sequential does not give me a buying opportunity. The weekly kind of does, because we had prior resistance around this level. But as I said, the daily is not giving you any targets. 12th hour also not helpful, and so on. Maybe ETH was just a bit too overhyped. Hard question to answer. But there's support where we're currently at. There still is support, heavy support actually, around 0.037. We are currently at 0.0354. So we still could be looking at a little bit of a percentage loss on ETH before it bounces, but we have heavy support where it's currently at, and it retested it. So I mean, maybe ETH will outperform Bitcoin in the next few days and weeks. So hard question to answer. We will have to wait and see. Hope that you liked my answer. Hope you get something out of it. I'm not a fundamental investor regarding altcoins. I'm kind of a fundamental investor regarding Bitcoin actually, but also of course I'm a trader of Bitcoin, so I'm both in that aspect. Thank you for subbing, Mr. Fumanchu, Miss Fumanchu. Let me reach 100 subs, people. We can do it. We can do it. Yeah, 94. Come on, push it. Push it, push it. Kind of stream sniping here, the crypto sniper. Yeah, I mean, what you wanted to say? Bitcoin is an uptrend. We good, boys. We good. I think, by the way, yeah, let me just take a bigger time frame approach to Bitcoin. I will delete that for now. I will do this. So I'll just delete some lines here. Actually, interesting. Maybe this will be important. I'll keep this. I'll keep this. Yeah, so Bitcoin, looking at its daily trend, I'm still looking for 61. I kind of deleted actually my drawings, but my drawings were like reaching 50, then 60, and afterwards going back to like 42 to 40, 44, 45. Not so easy to say where that will be, since we do not have a top form yet, but I will look for the target of like 61, 62. We have heavy resistance around 61. If you look at the Fibonacci, oh, I kind of fucked that up actually. Interesting. Oh, right, I did not take the all-time high. I took this high. Yeah, Yeah, I know. Oh, I know what I did. Oh, I know what I did. I took those. So this is suggesting we have resistance. This is basically this like mini bull bear market, which we had in a bigger bull bear market, actually, which would suggest we have resistance around 60k. But I mean, it kind of didn't do that well in the past. Just, I mean, yeah, it gave a signal around 20k, but hey, come on. I mean, 20k as resistance is not too surprising if you look back in the past. So I will actually not use this. I mean, we'll use the bigger bear market here. So this is not suggesting we find resistance, but I'm still suggesting we find resistance around 60k. But this actually gave you a nice target around 43,000, almost the high. Let me adjust it. I don't know, it did not, kind of sucked as well. It was around 46. These are Fibonacci extensions, by the way, if you do not know it. Yeah, so daily here on Bitcoin, as I said, I'm still looking for around 61k, but I will take profit in 55 range after reaching 61. I don't think we have too much room to go, because if you look at the past correction, let me just do it in reverse. From the bottom to the top, we moved like 47%. If you take that range, then we are looking here on Bitcoin at like 55, and I think 60 would be an outperformance, but I still think that to outperform here is not unlikely. Yeah, so this is also the reason why I will take some profit around 55,000, because we will probably get a retrace or a little bit of correction. At least that is what I would be looking for. I like Ethereum bouncing here. Oh. Would be nice if it holds the small bounce, because it is at heavy support. Yeah, so I think I will wrap this stream up actually in a minute. Now going like an hour I think is fine for my streaming capabilities. If you are still watching, make sure you leave a like, you subscribe of course, and yeah, if you get something out of it, then also definitely consider following me here on my Instagram page, where I'm also very active actually on a daily basis. Yeah, Litecoin, nice actually. Oh, I did not see it. Nice move to support around 225. A little bit higher. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the stream, make sure, as I said, subscribe. Let me reach 100 subs. I'm sure I can do it. Yeah, hope you like the stream, and I will see you guys, girls, you people, back next time. Bye.